In this video I'm going to show you how to make this mandala decoration. I really like this Aztec calendar that JTech Laser have produced. It's got the VCarve toolpath and then lasering on top. So what I want to do is take that concept and make something on my own. I've created this test piece using a small mandala design, which I think has come out really well. So let's get into the software and see what I can build on from that. So just before I got into the software, I just wanted to do a bit more research on mandalas. So mandala is a Buddhist diagram or symbol which basically signifies an ideal universe. So I then looked on Google Images, just at some inspiration really, just to focus on what I wanted to create in the mandala and what designs or symbols are common across a lot of the mandalas online. That will then give me an idea of what my design will look like. So let's get into the software and I can show you some tips and tricks and some of the features that I use to create the vectors for the mandala decoration. The first feature I'd like to mention is the bitmap trace tool. This is a really quick and efficient way of creating vectors from a bitmap or a design. This could then be used as a basis for a mandala design. However, with most images and designs, you'd probably need to go in and edit the vectors, delete some, and add your own to make it machine friendly and exactly what you want. The second feature I'd like to mention is the circular copy tool. We can use this to create one small vector and then basically copy it onto each leaf or part of the mandala design, copying it round from the central point 12 times. This was the basis of how I created most of the vectors for the mandala design, creating just one of each thing and then copying it around 12 times to create the mandala effect. Other features I'd like to mention are the interactive trim tool and offset tool. So with the interactive trim tool, you can basically go around and cut out vectors you don't want really quickly and easily. If you hold down your mouse button while in the interactive trim tool, it will keep cutting away the vectors or deleting the ones that you hover over. Releasing the mouse button will stop that. You can also select the option where it will actually rejoin any vectors that you do trim. This will mean you won't need to go in and join vectors or close any vectors. It will just do it automatically for you. The other feature I'd like to mention is the offset tool. This can be really effective and helpful when creating vectors used with the VCarve toolpath, as you'll need two vectors to then cut inside with the VCarve toolpath. I've now shown you all of the core features that I use to create and edit all of the vectors for the mandala design. If you'd like to find out more or unsure on any of the features that I've covered so far, I'd highly recommend going to our tutorial browser on the website, where you can find out loads more information and specific tutorials on vector editing and creating vectors. What we're going to do next is open up a new job in Aspire and put in our material settings. We'll then import in a DXF file, edit the file, creating some more vectors, add into the mandala design, taking out some of the vectors which we can see won't cut very well, and also we're going to fix anything that doesn't look quite right. This will then give you the tools and information so that you can go in to the files provided on this project and edit the mandala design, fit your needs and personalize it to be your own. So let's get into Aspire and get started. As we're creating our own model, this is an Aspire only project. However, I am going to include a DXF file which will allow VCarve users to VCarve and laser from the DXF file. So I've just opened a new job in Aspire. I'm going to create a new file, go through the job setup. So I've already measured out my material. So I want a width of 180 and a height of 180 mm and then a depth of 24 mm. Then click OK. Next, what we want to do is import in the DXF file. So if we just open up this Windows File Explorer, clicking and dragging in the DXF file. Now that we've got the mandala DXF file into the software, we're going to add in some droplets to the design. If we just start off with drawing some lines, this is the base, it's going to be the base of the droplet. We can then smooth the points. Delete the lines from one side as we will not use these, and we'll just reflect or mirror the vector, and that's all done. What we'll now do is size the drops up and then duplicate them to make a set of 6 drops. Once we've finished drawing the vectors and we're happy with them for the droplets, we can select all the vectors, make the center point in the middle, go over to our circular copy tool and copy them 12 times. That's looking good. So on to the next thing that we want to edit. I can already see that these dots are going to be very small and quite hard for the tool to get into. This is something where cutting a test part will always be a good idea so that you can see any smaller issues like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and delete out all of the small dots, just leaving these 2 vectors here. Now that we've got those all deleted, I was looking a lot better already, so we've added the droplets and deleted out the small parts we don't want. What we're now going to do is see if there's anything that isn't quite symmetrical or doesn't line up properly. So I can notice that these V's and dot aren't quite all the same. So what I'm going to do is just keep one version. So I'm just going to keep these vectors but delete the rest. This will then mean I can select the vectors I want, center point in the middle, then copy it around 12 times. Cool, that's looking really good. I'd highly recommend fixing anything that you can see that isn't quite symmetrical or isn't looking quite right, or where vectors are too close together or just aren't going to cut well. Something I'd just like to point out as well is, as I mentioned earlier, the offset tool can be a really effective way of creating different shapes and also in different patterns, like here, where I've just taken one circle in the middle and offsetted it outward a couple of times. This will then create a really cool effect in the end. It V-carving away this part and just leaving a center circle, which should look really cool in our design. Once you're happy with all your vectors, it's time to create the 3D shape component, which we're going to project the VCarve toolpath and the laser toolpath onto. So what you'll need to do for this is have an outside vector which you'd like to be the outside of the model. What we then need to do is come across to the Create Angular Shape Components tool over here. We can now actually go into the 3D view, create the component. You can then move these toggles up and down to vary the shape height. What we want to be aiming for is something around 18 millimeters. We hide the vectors here. Also, we've got shape height of about 18, which will fit in our material perfectly, giving it some backing as well. I'd suggest having a play in the 3D view and getting your component just right with all these toggles which you can set dynamically. Now that we've got our model and all our VCarve vectors, the last thing to do for this part before we start looking at our toolpaths is to create the outside vector for our profile toolpath. What we're going to do is just select the outside vector we use for the 3D model, and we're just going to offset it outwards 1 millimeter. Now that I've shown you how to create all your vectors and the 3D model, what we're going to do is we're going to actually open up the file which you will receive from your V&Co account and create the toolpath for cutting the mandala decoration. As you can see, I've added in some extra decorative vectors around the outside of the mandala decoration file which you'll get in your V&Co account. I did these using the same process that we've gone through before, so creating one set of vectors and using the circular copy tool. So let's get into the toolpaths. First toolpaths, we're going to create a 3D roughing toolpath and a 3D finish. For this, we'll want the model selected, go into the 3D roughing, select the tools, I'm going to go for the model boundary. I've done quite a large boundary offset. This is due to the V bit getting into all of the tight spaces here, so we don't want a big wall here. And then that's all set. Now we're going to create the 3D finishing toolpath. For this I'm going to use a 1/4 inch ball nose. So Now that we've done those two toolpaths and we've got the 3D model, it's time to sort out the VCarving. Go into the VCarve toolpath. I've selected to use a 30-degree V-bit. That's because on the test part that I cut, the grooves or the parts that we were VCarving, it didn't quite bring out the detail I wanted. So using a 30-degree V-bit, it's going to be a smaller angle, so it should bring out more of the detail. And we're going to project that onto the 3D model. So there, the 3D modelling and the VCarve toolpath all done. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump into the labs. Once we've done those cuts, we're going to jump back into the software, create the laser and the cutout toolpaths. Cool, so that toolpath's finished. We could just cut that out and that would be a finished product. But what we're going to do is we're going to jump into the software, use the laser module to bring out more detail in the product. Before we start adding the laser toolpath, I just wanted to talk about the massive benefits we have with the hybrid laser. So this allows us to actually laser onto a 3D model, following the model and the Z plane up and down, depending on what level the surface of the model is at. That means it will get a crisp and also a very effective laser effect on any 3D model, as we are actually following the contour of the model. It is also worth mentioning we are one of the only CNC software providers that provides a CNC product combined with the laser module add-on as well. So the first thing we need to do to create the laser toolpath is create a 3D model of everything that we've machined so far. So the 3D model and the VCarve, that's so that we can then project the laser toolpath onto that 3D model. So the advantage of doing this is that the laser toolpath will actually go into the VCarve bit at the depth which the VCarve has gone to. Otherwise, if we just projected it onto this, we wouldn't get the VCarve bits as well and the heights and depths of the VCarve parts. So to do that, we just need to select the outside vector and then create a profile toolpath, cutting all the way through. So this profile toolpath will never actually cut, but this is just so we've got the 3D view of what we've got or what we want to project the laser toolpath onto. So what we need to do is go into model, create from, which basically is meaning create a model from, and then we want to select the toolpath preview. Once we've done that, you can see that's raised up. So we just need to switch off the component below it, which is a component we had before, and then we'll be just left with the model of what was in the 3D preview. What we then need to do is select the same vectors that we use for the VCarve, and then create a laser toolpath with these. So what we're going to do is select the laser cut and fill I've already selected the laser that we want. So with the settings, you can see we've got a power setting. So this is basically how much power you want the laser to output. 100% would be its full power, and then 0 would be nothing. So somewhere in between is a good figure to aim for. The move speed will also affect how much the laser burns and also how dark the laser burn is. Obviously, the higher the move speed, the less time the laser is going to have on each part to burn into it. So yeah, the higher the move speed, the less burn you'll get. Obviously, the number of passes is just how many times you want to go over it and run the same laser toolpath. Obviously, increasing the number of passes will just make it go over the same areas again and again. So basically, with these settings, what the best thing to do is, if you've got time, is to just test the laser at different settings. So to get to the setting that you're happy with the piece of wood that you're actually going to use. That way you're not going to be lasering onto something you've already cut and wasting time if it goes wrong. So we're going to project this laser toolpath onto the 3D model. This will massively leverage the Z travel of the model and also give us a really crisp laser finish. Obviously, if we didn't project onto the 3D model, it wouldn't take into account the VCarve parts, so the laser would be blurry in some parts or would not fully be in focus. Here you can see from the 3D preview with the blue lines on the model, that is where the laser toolpath is going to go following over the VCarve 3D model component. So as you can see, that's lasered onto all of that 3D model. So the last toolpath to do is just the profile toolpath. We're going to use this outside vector. Getting through the material. We're going to add in some tabs. Okay, for this, we'll need to basically preview but without this toolpath, just to make sure that we are actually cutting what we want to. So all those toolpaths are all done now, so it's time to get back into the labs and attach the laser onto the machine. So I love the way that that's turned out. The VCarve toolpath was really effective and the laser toolpath just makes it really pop. I think it's come out really well. One thing I would change, however, is just making the profile toolpath a bit wider out, which I will change in the file which you'll get in your V&Co account. If you like this project, like, comment and subscribe, and all the files will be in your V&Co account, so log in when you can. Cheers, till next time, see you later.